spending, I've been in saline.
Pack it up, get it right in no sleeve.
3-5 it before I sleep.
Hit niggas smoking, they put me to sleep.
Been round the loop and they all notice me.
Round the loop and I put on the team. Come and we slide and we pull up with skis. Yeah, Tokyo kill it. Trust him, Bo, and I know that he's spinning. Triple way rapper, flawless evasion.
Over here at Camp Coffee, downtown Oceanside, check out this seasonal special. It's a peppermint mocha. And I know we have our favorites that we always go back to, but don't forget to check out the seasonal menu because you'll only have it for 1 or 2 months. After that, you gotta wait your 10 months to try it again. So that's my little pro tip for the day. Try something new. It's like behind the scenes footage. BTS.
No, that's so awesome. And that's something I've actually been working on myself, is getting some behind the scene footage as well. Because I've had a few friends tell me like, hey, try to get some behind the scene footage. I know it's going to be hard, but it'll show a little more about you as well. And I'm like, I appreciate that. So if you're ready, we
didn't even have a flipping cup. You see how far? I should.
Oh, go ahead. You're good.
Watch me do a trick.
I got you.
White?
Oh, that's exactly. Gotta show the love.
They won't mind. It's their advertisement.
Yeah, that's perfect. You just triple check it.
You triple check.
Oh yeah.
Good. White is a good contrast. Boom.
Now
we set.
Looks great. So if you're ready, then we'll kick off shortly.
Yeah, man.
Alrighty, give this a shot.
Oh.
Okay.
I see they put the crushed peppermint sticks on the top.
I like that.
I like mocha. The whipped cream gives it a little hint of sweet, and the peppermint is not overbearing.
It's not.
So I like it.
It's nice. It's subtle. It's that peppermint. It's nice. It's a refreshing.
I was about to say refreshing is a great word for it because sometimes we choose or we opt for something too sweet. It's like sugar is an addiction. Yeah, so now I'm trying to learn the balance. My personal choice, because I naturally wanted the caramel apple cider. I knew that was going to be super sweet, and I'm like, I'm not sure if I really want that. Yeah, so.
I appreciate it. Well, thank you, and good morning for being on this episode of Around the Loop. Thank you, everybody. I wanted to take the moment to actually let you guys know that today's episode is very special because it's actually held down here at downtown Oceanside, and shout out to the Camp Coffee for letting us host this interview here as well. Thank you for the phenomenal drinks as well. So today I have the honor and privilege of having...
Hi, I'm Kareem Pinkston. I'm the owner of Eating Oceanside. Yeah.
Thank you for being on today's show. I really appreciate your time.
Yes.
So I wanted to take the moment to actually get to learn a little bit about you, to show the world and people around the loop who you are, and take a little deep dive, if you don't mind. So let's take it down way back. Did this food thing go for you all the way back to childhood times?
Nah. Well, it's interesting. So people think as a food promoter and a food reviewer, like I'm extremely well versed. But I mean, being 100% honest, and everybody knows on my vlog, I am unfiltered. That's one of my best qualities, and that's why people trust my opinion. I have no filter. I'm always honest, always direct, always truthful. So all that to say is that I grew up in very hard conditions, and I actually did not have access to a large variety of food. Wow. So we're talking like I wake up every day and I'm talking having oatmeal for breakfast every single day of the week, maybe some cereal if my mom can get some. Raised by a single mother type situation. Yeah.
Oh, God.
So when I got into my own as an adult and I could provide for myself, I realized, I want to eat something. I want to try something. So when I got my own money, that's where I spent it.
And that's amazing. And I wanted to ask, where did the name come from? How did you even come up with the name? I know it almost sounds too cliche, but I have to ask.
Legitimate question. Honestly speaking, I was in St. Croix. The year was 2013. And I was looking for food. I was looking at vlogs for food just on, I think, Instagram. I think it was Instagram a long time ago, right? Because Instagram's been around that long. And I was looking around, and there was some kind of vlog, I think it was in Wisconsin or something like that, and it was called, like, Eat in Wisconsin or whatever. And I was like, eat in here. Like, huh? I was like, what if I'm just eating it? Like, what if I'm just eating the place? I was like, that would be a cool name. So, I mean, that's where it kind of birthed, but I didn't create Eating Oceanside there. But that's where it birthed the thought of it, the concept of it.
And I've noticed that you're not only in Oceanside, you're in North County. So there's other spots that you reviewed as well.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask, is there any other spots outside of this area that you've also had the opportunity to review that's, if you want to do some honorable mentions?
No worries. Yeah. So what I've been so I'm a diehard Oceanside vet. So like live here, breathe here, eat here, sleep here. You know what I mean? So all that to say is like when I created this vlog, I never stepped or ventured out. The honest, 100% truth, never. Like people will tell me, why don't you go over here to Vista? I'd be like, Vista, Oceanside. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Gotta love it.
Recently, with my special someone, she's like, yo, I live outside. You got to come out here and check me. And so I go out there to go check her, and it's like, yo, what's this place like? What's this place like? I'm like, oh man, this is what this is like. Like there's some good food outside of Oceanside. So only now, after all this time, I'm actually being exposed to different types of food, and it's well warranted. The reason why is because the food dynamics in Oceanside itself is changing.
It is.
Right? A lot of the brands that are outside of North County, Vista, San Marcos, Escondido, anywhere down to La Jolla, all of those brands are actually coming up to Oceanside now. Whether they be chain or whether they be franchise, my point is that they are coming here.
Yes, sir.
And so it behooves me to have an idea of what this brand is about before it even reaches here. So when someone asks me, what do you think about this one? I could be like, yo, this place is legit. Or actually, they did a better job at their original spot.
Oh, wow.
And they're dissing us by giving us the leftovers. You know what I mean?
And have you ever had that happen to you?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. But I mean, everybody can tell you, anybody on my profile will tell you that I typically only... I go to smallest mom and pop. This place over here, Camp Coffee, best example. Family owned, run, operated, local. This, hire small, and this is his only shop. That's it.
Oh, wow.
Everything is all in here, and boom. I love those. That's the dream for me. I love to see that. There's nothing wrong with growth per se. Yes. But if I have to choose between supporting this place and a Starbucks, I'm not even looking at Starbucks.
No, this is first.
You know what I mean? 100%. So I'm checking out the small ones first, and then I'll branch off and I'll look at the secondary. Everybody gets a little bit of love and maybe an honorable mention, but the small mom and pops have my heart first.
And I wanted to ask you, what is your first mom and pop shop here in Oceanside that you actually had the honor to review? If you can remember it, because I know it's probably a lot.
You know what?
Yes.
It's funny you mentioned that. Last year, I was looking through Google. You're going to laugh at this. I was looking through Google Maps, and for whatever reason, I was looking at... it's in the harbor, Joe's Crab Shack.
Okay. I've never been there yet. I still have to go. It's weird. I grew up my whole life here.
Right?
Never been.
In the harbor of Oceanside, California, in Oceanside Harbor, is a chain that we all know called Joe's Crab Shack. And apparently when I came to Oceanside, I don't know, 9-10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm still a baby here. I still consider that baby. But I came just at the sweet time of Oceanside, just before it hit this boom of growth.
True.
And when it was not too ghetto, it was just right where everybody loves. Everybody agrees, undecisive. Like this is it. This is where it should have remained. But anyway, going back to it, Joe's Crab Shack. Checked out the review. Said I think it was 8 to 9 years old. You did this review 9 years old, and I looked at it. And I was like, oh, I love this place, and then I was like, wow. So I think Joe's Crab Shack has earned the title of being my very first spot, even if it's a chain. And I'm like, you know what? I'm good. Like. My memories are embedded into that, No,
I love that. I appreciate you sharing that. And I also wanted to ask, has there been any situations where you've had to be honest and give not say a bad review, but it's an honest review?
Yeah. Now, all of my reviews are honest. I've been fortunately blessed to have never had a revolting review where I'm like, yeah, this is completely crap. So I'm very particular about how I word. And for anybody that follows me and they check out my Yelp reviews or on Google, specifically Yelp, you can actually look at someone's profile and look at all their reviews, right?
Oh,
so
wow.
You can click on the name and the person and do a search. But my point is that I don't like injustice and I don't like dishonesty.
Okay.
So one of my first negative reviews was at this establishment. It's located on the 76 highway. I won't name it right now. But my point is that it was a Mexican spot, supposedly, that said, we have the best fish tacos in like North County. I think it's
that's a big title.
And I was like, yo, that's a hard title.
Yeah, to say that.
You can say one. Here's the trick for anybody marketing: one of. Say one of the best. That's it. You've cleared your name.
Love that.
Because now you can be ranked up there, but you're not claiming that you are. Don't be too self-titled. Because people like me will come in here, and I'm not a stuck-up reviewer. And people also, to be clear, I'm not a food critic. A lot of people think that I'm a food critic, meaning a critic goes into an establishment and looks to find a way to tear things down, right? I'm looking for imperfections.
Okay.
I don't do that. I
love
promote food. I want the business to do better. So when I go to a place and I try it, it's like, well, if this came out to me cold, I'll keep that in mind. And I'll actually let the establishment know before I sit there and write a review, disrespecting them. Well, telling it as it is.
It's the honest
right?
truth.
It is the honest truth. But now here it is. The next week I'll come back and I'll order the same thing. And if it comes cold, you're getting it. You're getting it in the review. You are getting it in the review.
You even give them the opportunity. You're like, I'll give you your one shot to correct yourself.
Every business deserves a chance. And I'm not talking to the waiter. The waitress and the waiter, they don't care. So I have to have this collaboration with the owner and said, listen, by the way, I need you to know this over here, I might be okay with XYZ, but someone else is going to come in here and tear you down for this. True. And they're going to be quick to write a review and shut you down.
Yeah.
And it don't take nothing but a couple of negative reviews for a place to be like, nah, bro, I ain't going there.
Even in Google, it's crazy how much a review on even Google, Yelp, and all this goes so far. And how big of an impact. Because those reviews, you can't delete them.
You can't.
They're forever.
They're forever. I have some reviews on my Google that have literally 24 million views on them.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got like 24 views on mine, but that's amazing.
Yeah. So my point is that your opinion does matter. And for anybody that goes out there and is just enjoying a meal, right, at any establishment, please keep in mind that your opinion does matter. It is valid, right? Whether it's good or it's bad. But don't be that person that just always wants to complain about the bad. Take the time and write the 2 sentences. If it was a good response. Business owners want to see this. They want to say this like, what are we doing right? We don't know what we're doing right.
They just say, oh, it's good. But what's good about it?
Right. Or if all you see is negative, because everybody wants to say, I had a bad time.
But what was it that was bad? Then I want to know. Was it the service? Was it the food?
Correct.
Was it the atmosphere? What was it?
Yeah. But going back to that one taco shop on 76 that claimed that they had the best fish taco, nah, you ain't it.
I love that, the honesty on that, because it's you're very transparent with that, and I love that because it's like you still give them that opportunity. Like you're not out there blasting, which is out of respect because there are people that don't mind. They don't mind throwing the name out there like that.
Right.
So I also wanted to ask, like, is there any big events coming up that you're planning to attend in this 2025, or any big future events coming up? Because I know this is a brand new year for us. Season 2 of Around the Loop podcast. So I wanted to ask you as well, like any big things that you want to let the crowd know.
So Oceanside obviously is known now as a food haven. Even though, respectively speaking, our diversity of food, Oceanside is saturated with a lot of food. To be clear, this is what Oceanside is, right? So hence Eating Oceanside is befitting of the name. True. But the more you grow out and you expand and you go look at these other cities and whatnot, you realize that our food diversity, in particular to a specific region, we're not as diverse as we can be. We have the potential to be.
I see.
I'll give you the best example. For at least 6 years I can think of, we only have one Jamaican spot.
There's
only one.
Really?
Only one Jamaican spot here in Oceanside. And up to 3 years ago, we only had one Indian spot. And until last year, then all of a sudden it was like, boop, 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 boop. Now we have like 5, right? But my point is that prior to that, like Peruvian, we only had one Peruvian restaurant. Everybody loved, and I can call the name Panca, right? Because they're gone. They're gone now. It's a family, and there's a blessing and the curse. You have a family-owned business, and you listen, when abuelita or somebody gets sick and everybody has to go take care of her and whatnot, when things like that happen, like sometimes the whole business takes a hit because it was literally family-owned and operated.
That's true.
So, I mean, blessed be to them. Everybody can sit there. Any local Osider can testify that Panca was it. Right, and it took like maybe 3 to 4 years after they closed that we finally got another one. So shout out to Casera Kitchen, Peruvian Kitchen and Bakery. Casera is another one that actually stepped up. So we finally got Peruvian. Now we have another 2 more that opened up.
Oh, wow.
But my point is that that's how Oceanside works. So for such a long period of time, we can just have breweries, we have pizza, we have burgers, and we have Mexican. We're king of that. You can't test us on that, right? But then I'm talking about getting out to another culture. That's what I want to see.
That's what I want to see. Is we are so rich in culture. We're so rich in diversity, and it's like, why aren't we showing more of that?
Correct.
Why not?
Correct.
Why not?
Yeah.
And no, I highly agree with you on that. I really do. And I wanted to ask also, like, what are your future plans? Like, what is your end goal for this year? As you know, being the reviewer and everything, what is your end goal?
Well,
this year?
Prior to this, I will answer your other question about events. There are 2 events, major events that focus around food in Oceanside. One is the Taste of Oceanside, which is put on by Main Street. It is focused on the downtown area. It's a good event if you are a tourist and you want to you're always curious about these places in downtown, but you're not trying to do the check. It costs money. It costs money. So going to every single restaurant and dropping $50 and crossing your fingers that it might be good. So my point is that the Taste of Oceanside is a great opportunity to get a sample of what these businesses, because they'll focus on one little hors d'oeuvre or one little plate and put it out there and bam. But everything down here is just, it is what it is. It doesn't really so much change in the downtown area. So it's a great event that's kind of pricey, but you kind of get an idea of what's going on. But it makes you walk, because you're walking from establishment to establishment. So it's kind of, depending on how you look at it, you're walking off some of the calories. If you're doing the beer version or the alcohol version, that means the adult version, you can get some.
That's true.
So you're getting tipsy because alcohol hitting you while you're walking from place to place. But it's good. The next one, which is honestly my favorite, no filter, Oceanside Flavor. This event is put on by Pier Club Presents. And Oceanside Flavor is held at Goat Hill Park, which is a golf course.
Yes.
They convert this bad boy into a space that holds, I think, at least 100 vendors. And this is where...
Because it's a massive golf course.
Yeah, this is where the magic happens. Like that, I can't talk about that place any higher, or that event any higher, because they hand select the different vendors that show up there, which means the variety changes every year.
Oh, wow.
So that means, like, if you go to, for example, Taste of Oceanside once, next year it's probably going to be the same, because the businesses haven't really moved that way.
I see.
You know what I mean? Right. But if you go over there, you see they even evoke some of the newer businesses that just popped up, like a little food truck. And that's where you get to taste a small mom and pop shop that you never had before.
True.
And then later on you learn about them, and then you get to go and find out their location. So now you've added another option to your dining experiences by going to this event for one price. So to me, the pinnacle for food events over here is Oceanside Flavors, secondary to Taste of Oceanside. And other than that, it's the weekly Thursday Sunset Market that happens in downtown Oceanside from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And that's another beautiful experience that has a lot of vendors. I'd like to be transparent again. Not a lot of the vendors are local. All right. There's a blessing and a curse to that, because obviously when we spend our money in that space, that means they take the money and they go.
Yeah, we would expect that it's actually going to our own people here of this beloved
Not
city.
necessarily the case, but here's the pro. Here's the pro way to look at it. I try to find balance in all my perspectives, right?
True.
So the pro to it is that if you didn't want to go drive 2 hours into downtown San Diego to get this Egyptian food, it just came to you.
True.
So every Thursday, now you have access to this Egyptian food that you didn't have to drive and fight and battle traffic on the 5 for.
100%.
So there's a blessing and a curse. Your money's not going to stay in Oceanside, but at least you acquired the experience of in trying something new.
No, I love
for that price. So.
And I wanted to ask you, what changes have you noticed with the Sunset Market over the past, let's say, 5 years, 5 to 10 years? Because I know a lot has changed. So since I guess you first came here to now.
Yeah. So what I've noticed is that the Sunset Market growing bigger. I've noticed the Sunset Market. I don't know if it's not. I can't necessarily ever say it's their fault, but a lack of smaller local businesses may not necessarily be on their part. But it might be the fact that we don't have any to offer.
I see.
Does that make sense? Right. But at the same time, if you're a small business and the Main Street Corporation, nonprofit, decides to put incentives, say, hey, listen, for a small business, we're going to give you like 50% off of the rates for the first couple of months. If you're a small local business, come on in. That's how I would run it. Does that make sense? Because that way it incentivizes a small mom and pop, this little, food cart or food truck that they have on the side of the corner that they are licensed to run, but they want to get that exposure. All it takes is one.
True.
All it takes is one time. I've known businesses that have started. I'll give you a great one. Bitchin' sauce. If you know about bitchin' sauce, right?
I've actually heard
it's the hummus sauce,
yes.
right? And I can fondly remember having them at the farmer's market in downtown Oceanside on a Thursday. And they used to have a sample, and I said, oh, this is great. And then after a couple of months, I noticed, hey, look, they're over there in Costco, and they're at Fraser Farms. And I was like, yo, they're growing. My point is that they went nationwide, but they started small. But imagine if an organization never gave them a chance to come into the market. Does that make sense?
No, 100%.
Right. So my point is that there should be more incentives for smaller businesses and entrepreneurs to be able to step into that realm and not pay such a huge overhead. Just give them that trial version.
Okay.
And even if they don't succeed in making the market money, at least they're able to grow and people know, oh, I know what that is. It looks familiar. Because that's how we are as creatures. We go back to what's familiar.
True.
Right?
True.
So
it's comfortability right there.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I've seen the market be growing right now. I hope right now in our economy, the Sunset Market, I think it's taking a hit.
Okay.
Because our local economy doesn't have, the locals are first of all dissuaded from parking. Right, so there's a lack of parking in the downtown. I call it good and bad. So
it's a tick for a tag.
You don't see me sitting there talking about Oceanside. Just yeah. No, you see me. I'm real about it. So I'm going to tell you the good and tell you the bad. So downtown Oceanside is really severely lacking in parking options for people. And I've done and conducted polls and reviews on my profile, and many people are like, yo, I don't even come to the downtown area because it's hard to find parking. Legit,
it's true.
Like if I have to drive a half an hour to 45 minutes to find parking. Bro, it's not it. If I have one bad experience, I'm not coming back.
True, and it shouldn't be like that. And we got to figure out the parking situation. Yeah, solution for it, because there is a solution for this parking. There is either shuttles if there's a designated area like the 99-cent store parking lot that used to be there. Shuttle from there to here.
I agree.
Or some sort of service, because it's hard. It's hard.
The efficiency for that. So, that and also the prices over the years for the Sunset Market has steadily increased, whether that's been through vendor application fees and whatnot, which of course passes on to them. And so that cannoli or that donut that used to be like $2 is now $4, and now it's $5, now it's $6. So we're like $6 for one dessert item. Like, bro, and it's fine if it's me and you when I got to buy something for the whole fam. Because remember, Sunset Market is a family event.
Exactly.
Dogs are allowed to come. Like, it's a family event. So when you bring the 4 kids and you got to buy dinner and you're trying to buy dessert and you're trying to buy drinks and it's $6 for a cookie or whatever, it adds up.
Oh, definitely. That's times 4 for everything.
Yeah.
On top.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
wow.
That's what's hurting the market right now, I believe.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, drink's really good.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I really appreciate you taking the moment, taking your time to be on today's episode. And I wanted to ask, is there any message that you would like to share with the people of around the loop, the people of Oceanside and North County?
All right. For those of you watching, this is January 2025. This is going to be a very interesting year, not just politically, but economically. And this is what I'm going to tell you. You're going to hear it from almost every organization: support local, support small. In that, in your lifestyle incorporated message, I would like you to keep that to heart. What that means is, if it's possible to go to a small cafe such as Camp Coffee before you go to work instead of Starbucks, I recommend doing it. Banana Dank, there's 10 million cafes around. Oceanside has no shortage of coffee. All right?
Y'all know.
But I'm saying like Dutch Bros, Better Buzz, Starbucks, like those are corporations. They're going to get their money anyway.
Regardless.
So my point is that never think that your little $5 coffee isn't going to hold weight in the economy of a small business. Every single dollar matters.
Love that.
All right? Especially when down here, they rely on tourists. You don't know. The lease for these places to be in this building might be like 20 grand, man.
Exactly.
The overhead. And then, of course, we have, the price for minimum wage going up to $20. My point is like, oh well, it's okay. I don't have to get coffee from them. I'll just go get it from Starbucks. It's if it's $4 and over here it's $5, pay the extra dollar and come check out a smaller business.
Yeah.
You'll get a lot more love. I won't get into the health benefits, but for those of you that are keen on it, go look up on the web Proposition 65.
Okay.
And you will notice that you'll see that places like Starbucks, Pete's Coffee, and all these other brands that are fast food chain, they don't have an emphasis on health. Whereas over here, they roast their beans, they get everything, you know what I mean? Like the process is more hands-on. And so we don't have those kind of health concerns and warnings coming from this menu and from this establishment. So not only is it healthier for you, but you're also supporting a small business. And when you're supporting a small business, the money stays in the community.
True. 100%.
Right? Versus on a chain when it might be just dipping out and going out to somewhere else.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
Where the owner is. So I'm just trying to say at the end of the day, just remember that your money does matter. That's your voice. Right?
I love that. Okay.
Right? You've been seeing everybody talk about, Gaza and money, so they boycott, whatever, Starbucks or whatever. That's where your voice matters. You can't really push a button and shut down an establishment for doing something wrong. But your money, that's what matters. So if you don't go there and you tell your whole family, we're not going over there, but I only spend $20, every week. Yeah, but if 2,000 people don't spend $20 a week, that hurts a business.
Majorly.
And that's where your voice and that's where your message is spent. On the flip side, if you show that same kind of love to a small business, it helps them grow. It helps them do better. And these small businesses are the ones that are helping with fundraisers. They help give back to schools and Boys and Girls Club and the high school.
They're there for the community.
They're there for
us.
the community.
Yes,
so, it's very important. Very, very, I can't emphasize it enough. That's why I run my brand based on supporting small first. I'll help out a big brand maybe later on, but they are always secondary. I always try to help the smallest brands first. And that's the biggest message I can ever give. Don't ever feel like your dollar doesn't count.
I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that. And I, like I said, I'm very thankful for you taking your opportunity, your time, for being on today's episode. And I'm looking forward to, collaborate with you down the road again, having another, just to see how you're doing, just to meet up and check on how you're doing in the next 5 months or 6 months. Yeah. And see what journeys we've both ventured through. So, like I said, thank you so much for being on today's episode, and I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on here.
Thank you.
Peace. Ooh. Then they license it. So people like us, we're like, make me a video of a cafe that has wood tile settings, and it'll use the same wooden video that the other person, and it'll use it as filler to create exactly what you want. So you don't necessarily need to go out now and buy coffee. As long as there's a video clip, and I guarantee, I'll bet my life on it, someone out there has already, showed a quick little video, 4K, of them, going like this, and then they'll do maybe another video of them drinking. And they'll probably have someone else coming in and drink, and they'll do a male, a female, white, black, Indian, Chinese, whatever the hell. And these people do this for a living. And then later on, you and I are like, create a video where I show the entrance of Camp Coffee, and I show the guys making roasting beans, and then show somebody sipping on a cup of the coffee, white, Asian, whatever, and then it'll actually put it together using that same B-roll footage.
Oh, wow.
You never had to leave the fucking house, bro. AI is crazy.
That is insane.
So when you study, I mean, don't do what I do, but when you study like vlogging first and like how the algorithm works and whatnot, then you can learn to maneuver around things. So even if your content may not be the best, you still know how to get it out there.
I see.
Does that make sense? So that's kind of like how I built mine. But another big, huge pro tip I can ever say, hopefully this is running, good, is don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I even spoke to another vlogger about a month ago, and they were like, well, I like doing this, and I'm showing pictures of my food and stuff, but, I just don't want to show pictures of my face. But I was like, I said, what's your brand? Oh, my brand is XYZ, I was like, but you are your brand, right? Yeah. I said, right now, people don't know you. So in order to get to know you, they're going to want to see you. If I go like this, you already know what that is. If I go like this, that's McDonald's, right? Golden Arches. If I go like this, that's a swoosh. That's Nike. It's all in branding. It's all part of marketing.
True.
So eventually, you got to become the face. Michael Jordan, you see the face and you automatically think Nike now, right? You think Jordans.
Exactly.
It's a given. So at the end of the day, you're going to have to, not have to, but it would behoove you to just like get over the fears of what you have of being behind the camera. Because when we go rolling?
Oh, we're definitely rolling. We're good. We're good.
Well, then, because it'll be part of my story. Go ahead
sir.
Ask me the question.
So, I wanted to ask, what are the origins?
The origins of Eating Oceanside.
Eating Oceanside.
All right, so Eating Oceanside was conceptualized because during the pandemic, businesses here, and specifically in the downtown area, because that's where I was at that time, I noticed that these businesses that were used to having the foot traffic from tourism, that was not, right? We're under quarantine. Nobody's walking around. We can't go anywhere. So naturally, I assumed every business was closed, just like I'm sure thousands of people living in the area were, right? But I come to find out online, because that's all I knew, right? I could have been doing something else, but all I knew is to be online on Instagram, and I'm looking on. I said, hey, this place is open. So I called them. I said, hey, you guys are open? Yeah, we're still open, but, no one's buying anything. And I'm like, well, I mean, because we can't come out to you, right? And it's like, yeah, well, I was like, but, are you on Uber Eats? And they're like, Uber what? I was like, oh, you don't know anything about Uber Eats or DoorDash because you never needed it. You're always used to the foot traffic. So I was like, oh, okay. So listen, this is what you need to do. You either get on one or two of those services. This is the link. This is what it's called. Go research it. You do it. Like, I can't do that for you, but you can do that part. Or some of the businesses actually had their kids in the back, and they had the delivery truck that you just use the little minivan or whatever. It's like, well, we take orders over the phone, and then we just have the kids just wheel it over to the person, because as long as they're in a 10 mile radius, we can do it. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. But if you're a consumer and you're online and you're on DoorDash and Uber Eats, you don't see that business. So you didn't know to call them to place your order.
No, true.
So what I acted as was the liaison. They didn't know anything about being on social media. Nobody did. This was before even TikTok was started to blow up. So what happened is I show up, I'm going to come up on the scene. I created Eating Oceanside, which everybody can look for as a keyword. Like, I'm in Oceanside and I want to eat something. Well, the algorithm will pick that up.
That's awesome.
Right? The same thing with food reviews. Well, what's a food review? Oh, boom. I got you. So everybody funneled to my page, saw what my page was about. And then here I am saying, hey, don't forget this place over here. They're open. And this is their phone number. And they're taking phone orders.
Oh, wow.
And their kids will come and drop off the food to you, whatever. You're not going to see them on DoorDash.
I can imagine that support and how that affected the business right away.
Big time. And it was very motivational to see, and this is back in the day, Oceanside used to have this business climate where the community would help each other. So specifically on Mission Avenue, I'm going to give a shout out to Coomer's Wine and Spirits, Rosewood Kitchen, all right, Booze Bros, and Rim Tale, which is our resident Thai food. But basically what happened is, since bars could not remain open, that included Coomer's Wine, which is a wine place. All they sold was wine. So guess what? You had to be down. But if they carried a food menu, they can remain open. So what happened is, watch the teamwork. Rosewood would come over here and say, hey, you can order our pizza. You can order our food. And then, the same thing with the Thai place. Hey, yeah, here's our menu. So now they developed this workmanship where people will go in for wine, and the business can remain open, even though it was only wine only, right? But they had the opportunity to purchase food. And so every business won. This is all on Mission Avenue. They call it now the Block. I think that's what they call it now, is a string of businesses that are there. And that kind of collaboration, that camaraderie, that's what was a foundation that inspired what I was doing as well. Because I said, if businesses are going to work like that to stay open, then hell yeah, I'm down for that. You know what I mean? So I went and I pitched in and I did what I needed to do to create like a face where people can find out the information to go purchase and to support these small businesses that were struggling to stay alive during the pandemic. And that's basically the origin of Eating Oceanside. Yeah.
I can imagine how was that feeling, like being able to you change the life of businesses. You were able to reborn them, basically, help them to revive and I'm very low key. People that know me like personally, or people that watch my vlog long enough, they'll know that I'm not up there. I'm very modest and very like low key. So I never I know that I help. It took me a while to realize that I knew that I helped.
but I didn't know I helped as much as I did. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it made me feel good because I didn't want to survive the pandemic and not die from COVID. And then next thing you know, it's like all these places that I love. Stratford's by the harbor, Harbor Fish and Chips, Tin Fish. I didn't want all these Rubies at the time, which was open, and or whatever. I didn't want all these places to be shut down or closed after I survived. It's like there's my lifestyle of what I used to love is gone.
True.
So I mean, I selfishly kind of did it for me, but I did it for everybody else, and everybody else kind of like benefited from it. But
I love that.
It's really just always helping small businesses, and I was just, at that time we were blessed. Oceanside's still blessed. Downtown area is primarily smaller businesses. If you can count them on your hands and your toes that we don't have that many chains here at this moment, 2025.
Hopefully there will be more shortly.
No, we don't want them. We don't want them. But that's the origin of it, and the plans for the growth of what I'm doing is to keep pushing forward. It's a little bit more challenging now because businesses, now that they don't need, right? Now we have an open market, so now there's foot traffic. A lot of businesses is like, well, we don't need you, right? And so, and also now like I'm charging. Before, when I was doing this, that I'm talking about conceptualizing, Eating Oceanside, I only had like 546 followers. Like I didn't have a lot. And it's hard to have a voice or it's hard to feel like you can make a difference. This is good advice. I'm going to give this is good advice for anybody that's starting from small. Doesn't matter how small you are, right? Starting from small, I'm saying I only have like 546 followers. What difference can I make compared to Visit Oceanside or Dine Oceanside or Main Street? These people have 10,000 followers. Like, what is my little 500 going to matter? But in terms of persistence and learning my craft and what I did, like I grew that to the space where I actually outperformed everybody because I got out on my hands and knees and I'm filming everything. People might take a picture of food and then I was like, I'm actually gonna eat the food and show you. And so that's my review. Like you can't, and people, any one of my followers always will say, like, man, you don't even need to talk when you're eating, bro. I watch your face.
It all says it right there.
And it says it right there, like your eyes. I could tell when you like it. I can tell when you're like skittish about it. I could tell when you're like, and luckily, again, I've only had like, out of what, let's say 4 years I've been doing this, right? I've only had like maybe 3 bad experiences. One of which was because I felt I was lied to because they said they provided the best fish taco and it was something that came out of the freezer and you know who you are.
That freezer fish taco.
Nah, you can't. And not for no $6. Don't be charging like, you can't. Now it's a different conversation if you're getting fresh caught, something that's local. And I'm all for supporting especially businesses small that support another small business or small local. You know what I mean? Like, so just to be clear, like my feelings towards chains and franchises isn't because it's a chain and a franchise that I inherently hate them, right? My fear is that a place like Starbucks or whatever, or Better Buzz will come in with their low prices and they'll drown out the small mom and pop shop like what we're in, right? Because people just go for the trend. They go for the sugar, right? They're like, I love Dutch Bros. And I was like, why? I don't know. It's just so sweet. I was like, because sugar is an actual legal addict. It's an addictive.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It is. It is.
It's not even. It's not a joke. It's not a conspiracy theory. Sugar is addictive. Real.
It is.
Right. So my point is that they will come in and people consume that, and next thing you know, the small business goes out. The big chain survives, and I wouldn't have a problem if the big chain was helping small businesses or supporting local.
Yes.
But I don't hear Starbucks saying, hey, we just donated to the Boys and Girls Club, or we're helping out the Oceanside High School. No, I don't hear that. But I will see fundraisers coming from smaller businesses like this place. Oh, we're helping out this cancer fund, or we're helping out, help a dog or whatever. So my point is that I like to support small, and I endorse small businesses because they care more about the community.
Yes.
I care about the community. I care about the city. So I support those that believe and we align in the same mindset. If show me a chain or a franchise that does it, and I will support them too. I'll have no problem. Well, I mean, I know McDonald's is the poison on a stick. But my point is that if people are going to eat it, they're going to eat it. That's fine. I can't tell you what to eat, even though I know it's not good for you. But at least they're giving back. If they were giving back, that's a different conversation.
True.
But that's my distancing from them that I don't like. So I'm always going to vouch and tell people, support a small business before, if you can. I know it's not always convenient, but if you can, support a small business and remember that your dollars matter.
True.
That's it. Your dollars matter.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, thank you so much for this little bonus recap right here, or this little bonus part that people are going to be very blessed to see.
Yeah.
So I'm very thankful for your time, and you know, thank you so much for
Yes.
everything. I really
That's it.
appreciate everything.
You too. Thank you for having me.